And it's the idea for just young cats of color, young cats, just whoever, right? It's trying to find that identity. Your circle's doing whatever it is, but when you're an athlete, that's what I really want to tap into, because again, you're an athlete. That identity is foreclosed, right? You push into this one lane.
And here's the deal: you will sacrifice who you are at your core, even though you know there's more to you than that. You don't give that thing enough to breathe. What I'm saying is, D, I was always a comic book kid. I was always a DC Comics and Marvel Comics. And the imagination and the stories and J.R. Tolkien, Lord of the Rings. Like I read all of his books, read the fact that this dude created languages, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Man, I'm reading all of these books. I'm a reader. That's who I was. My favorite subject in school, language arts, always. I had a teacher in the 6th grade. Her name was Mrs. Lori Shock. She taught me grammar, and it changed my life. Predicate, nominative, predicate, adjective, compound sentence structure, subject, verb, agreements, appositives, infinitives. I fell in love with that stuff, but I never let it breathe to the outside world. Nobody else. I kept all that stuff tucked away. All the while, the man up above was like, yo, you love words, son. You like taking grammar and breaking it down. You love that. You love finding where root words come from. You love the Latin derivatives that they are coming from. And you neglect all of that because this is what everybody else does. But that's not what I put into you. That's me at 11, 12 years old. So I had all that stuff presented itself, D. That's what I was supposed to be doing from Jump Street. No. But that wasn't beautiful. It wasn't newspaper. It wasn't
it wasn't sexy. It was
it was the girls weren't there. Cheerleaders don't rock with that. When I got to college, and I took a Africana Studies speech class. So it took all the way till my senior year. I'm a senior by grades, but I got one more year of eligibility football wise because I was a red shirt, right? Okay. So I was fearful of speaking, very introverted, right? I took freshman speech as a senior. Africana Studies, because it's like I'm gonna speak around people, I might as well speak around my people. And went to Africana Studies, and I don't know what in the world happened with Africana Studies, but it wasn't nothing but people outside of my race in Africana Studies. I was trying to figure that one out because I'm like, football player mentality. Oh, I got this. Us, me, people. I got a chance to get an A. Right. Come in there, and nobody look like you except the team. I'm like, what? Okay, so but then the gift of words started to flow with speaking and speeches, because then it came into doing history work and learning about culture. And man, I gave a 15-minute speech on soul food, on fatback, on collard greens, on chicken, on yam, difference between yams and sweet potatoes. You know what I'm saying? I was whipping it, and it was love for words. It was, and then at that time it started to creep. Why? Because Marvel movies started to get made. Okay, it became cool for everybody to jump in and talk about the Hulk. It came cool for everybody to talk about Iron Man. You know what I'm saying? And Captain America, like all of that was coming in. So it was cool to share these comic book stories. And then people started doing their research on comics, and X-Men movies were getting made. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff, that was my wave. All the sci-fi stuff. The movie 300 had just came out. So everything because I took Latin for 3 years. Why? Because 5 years, because I love Latin culture and history. I love the Colosseum. I love Quomodo Agitus Hodie per Bene, Senatus Populusque Romani. You know what I'm saying? I love Roman culture. I could never speak it to nobody because you wouldn't understand it. But then the Gladiator starts coming out. Then 300 starts coming out. So it's like my inner nerd can start breathing now because everybody else. But that's the wrong motto, because I should have been myself from the very beginning. So it took all those years of college. I waited for the world to start circling around to make these introductions to conversations. By the way, Lord of the Rings had just come out finally. You know what I'm saying? Right. All this stuff I used to get lost in with these books was now cool. And so then my inner self started to breathe, but it's years late. You know what I'm saying? I still kick myself to this day. You should have been that person when you were 12. And you let the world dictate Tyler Campbell being okay or being acceptable. You know what I'm saying?